Greetings, everyone. So, tonight, instead of talking about narcissism, I wanted to talk about kindness. Where I learned about kindness was from my mother. My mother, despite her flaws, was an extremely kind person, was an extremely kind mother. She wasn't a perfect mother by any means, but given what she had been through as a little girl and a pre-teenager, it's lucky she made it out alive, honestly. And I've always felt that, and people have told me that they always, throughout my young years and middle years, always said, "You're just like your mom." And I take that as a compliment. However, as I got a little bit older, I realized that there were people that will take advantage of you because you're kind. So a lot of times you hear people always be kind. They say always be kind. I don't agree with that. But I always like when people say kindness is free and you can always choose to be kind. I agree with that. Or if you're around a person that's not nice or mean, you could just choose not to engage. Otherwise, you'll just be meeting them where they're at. So, and it's pretty clear. I know a lot of people that that are listening to my videos. And, we'll see where my health goes if, there's improvements and I get better. There's other things I'd like to do with this channel. And I appreciate anyone who's listening to me, regardless of who you are. But I feel that in life, there's all kinds of situations or challenges that we go through, and kindness is on the vibration of love. It's a beautiful thing. Like, I had a nest of baby bunnies in my garden, and it was a real joy having them there. And unfortunately, they didn't make it. Prey birds got them, or they died from heart attacks. And I tried to save two of them. One of them died of a heart attack because it got so scared. And then the other bunny, I released it, but chances are it probably didn't make it either. But they did give me some real joy for a few days. And I feel that people that have really kind souls, we do better with people that are like us. It's because we have soft souls, we have sensitive hearts. And I know I use the word empath a lot, but I mean, it is kind of a good word to describe us. But when it comes to kindness, I mean, if you look at the state of the world today, everything throughout the world, you can see where there is lack of kindness, or the polar opposite, hatred. And then that goes to the Hermetic principles, polarities. what our world would be like if there was more kindness. We wouldn't have any wars. Babies would be healthier. Children would be healthier. There wouldn't be abuse. There would be no poverty. There would be no hunger. If we just had more kindness. When you have a world that is run by greed and power and dominance, you get exactly what we have now, everything that we're seeing. And the things that we're seeing are obviously not based in kindness. And kindness and love go together. And there's been so many songs written about it. I love what the Beatles said, all we need is love. And one of my favorite songs is by Jewel, The Hands. How does it go? My hands are small, I know. In the end, only kindness matters. I love that song. I love that song. You know who else embraced kindness was Bob Marley. A lot of people criticize him. I never looked deep into his life, but all Bob Marley was about was love. One love, one heart. Dance and praise to the Lord, and I feel alright. What would our world be like if we had more kindness? I know I talk a lot about narcissism, and I do think it's real. And I've learned how to navigate in this universe. But imagine what would happen if children were taught when they're 2 and 3 years old about kindness. In fact, Dr. Ramani talks about that. I don't know if she uses kindness, but she talks about empathy, like empathy and compassion. Imagine if preschoolers were taught kindness and love, generosity. Imagine if kindness was taught in police academies. Now, granted, there are certain situations you have to have things in place to keep people alive, etc. But imagine if kindness was taught in schools and in every home in the world. Kindness to animals. I mean, if you think about how many, I believe there are millions of animals put down every year. I might be wrong about the millions, but it's a lot. I mean, what kind of world? I've even been veering away from eating meat as much, but I was a vegetarian for a long time, but I'm kind of cutting down on it more. It doesn't sit right with me. And I'm not judging you if you eat meat, but I mean, it's just kind of it's an amazing thing to think about. Imagine if all the television shows, or whatever they call them now, Netflix and Amazon, and imagine if there were more shows emulating kindness rather than debauchery and filth and, killing and murders and all these, what I call low vibrational. Everybody, if you're into metaphysics, you'll understand it. And we should all understand it. I mean, It's not rocket science. You turn on the news, that's low vibration. Just imagine if workplaces were more kind, if they allowed workers to have more time with their family, or, maybe once in a while let them take a longer lunch because they're tired, or they need a little rest or something. Instead of all this, like, at-will employment and all these policies that emulate hatred and cruelties, law systems that are made to, what's the word I'm looking for? To utilize cruelties and overpowering and dominance and abuses in the court systems. I mean, I know that kind of world is not going to happen in my lifetime, but it's kind of nice to think about. If I always try to be kind. I mean, I am firm, and I put my foot down if I need to. I don't tolerate any baloney, because I've learned the hard way. But I always do my best to emulate kindness as much as I can. And, I mean, I even think about the things that are going on with the, Scientology and the ex-Scientology movement, and there's a lot of people that have zero kindness, I mean, that's not okay. There's no excuses for being cruel. And, I was, a while ago, I was looking for a t-shirt that said unity. It's all about magic. That's what magic is really about. And I'm just what is that called? Like an initiate. I'm just a beginner level. But I know enough about magic to know that unity is what is needed. That's why I was talking about the Hegelian dialectic is meant to divide and conquer. So anytime you see a news story focusing on a person's outside appearance, like their dark skin versus this, and they're really good on the news to make black men, I don't even like the word black, but just for whatever purpose, black men, they always want to make them look bad on the news. But yet we've got pedos running around rampant everywhere. You don't see them on the news, do you? You know what I'm saying? So it's always like to divide. It's always to divide. Christian versus Muslim, Muslim versus Christian. I mean, they even have wars going on about it, and a lot of people know what's going on in the world, and a lot of people don't, and a lot of people don't want to learn. I don't even really try to share what I know with people anymore, unless like a young person wants to know. And I don't know everything. I know a lot, but that's why I find it kind of hard to. Sometimes it's hard for me to make friends because they're all like in the matrix, they're like super immersed into the matrix, and I'm not. I mean, honestly, if a person was just to go read 5 to 10 really good books on mind control, it would change their whole world. But aside, I'm getting a little off track, but I just wanted to talk about kindness. I mean, I think about when I was a little girl, and I would be sleeping upstairs because this is where my bedroom was. And most mornings, my mother would be at the base of the stairs and singing, "Good morning to you, good morning to you." She was also a singer. I mean, like, that's just beautiful, you know what I mean? Like, we should all do more of that. Write poetry, even if you don't know how to do it. Say hello to people when you see them. Even if you get grouchy bear, at least you were kind. You don't have to match their energy. You just keep moving. Like attracts like. But if you're in the vicinity of someone of a lower vibration, let's say you're having a really good day and you're happy and you're in your kind vibe, usually you won't come into contact with Mr. Krabby Pants. But sometimes you might, just because we're out in the world, And your energy, which is kind, is going to repel a person that is not kind, which polar opposite is mean. I mean, I was just somehow I'm thinking of the Wizard of Oz. I'm not sure why. But follow the yellow brick road. That had a lot to do with being happy in so many ways. That's why Dorothy was dancing and going down the little yellow brick road. And then you had the Cowardly Lion, which he always had the courage, by the way. He just didn't know it. And the Tin Man, he wanted a heart. Well, he always had the heart. All along, he had the heart. Remember when he started crying and then his face started to get rusty? And Dorothy was always saying, "There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home." And then that part where Glinda the Witch told her, "You've always been home." It's magic. It's all about, what you think about. Imagine if, like, every day of the year was Kindness Day. Instead of focusing on really sad, negative things, we focused on kindness. The news stories were about kindness. Remember years ago, I don't watch the news, you guys know, but years ago we used to have on the news, back when I did watch it, which was a long time ago, you used to have like a little happy story or a kindness story. And that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun to watch the stories about kindness. Have you ever noticed, like, animals will know if you're kind? I usually, like, animals are drawn to me. But weirdly enough, in the last month or so, I had 2 dogs that, which has never happened in my entire life, tried to attack me. And never had that. So I think I know why. I don't want to get into it. But yeah, anyways. Imagine if our, like, YouTube and what are the other ones? Trying to think of the other ones. You have, well, all the video platforms. Rumble, there's a whole bunch of them. Imagine if their platforms were filled with videos. I mean, we do have a fair amount of kindness videos. But imagine if the internet exploded with kindness videos. Imagine if Instagram exploded with kindness videos instead of seeing 4-year-olds twerking or 7-year-old girls wearing a full face makeup and nobody saying anything about it. I mean, it's really that old-fashioned saying where, like pass it on. So if somebody was kind to you and then you go and you pass it on, that right there, that's physics. That's the magic right there. So anyways, I don't want to go on too long. I hope that you guys found this entertaining and interesting. Have a good night or day wherever you are. Peace.